know about music? How many genres do you know? I think all of you have known about music since you were born in this world, but there are many important things that we have to know about music. From the old era until the modern era, music has changed significantly from year to year, and music is not just an entertainment, but music also can be useful in other things. So, my name is Bima, and
Ilhan, we're going to talk about music. In this video, we will shortly go through the history of music, trying to find an answer to this challenging question. Let's dive in. Okay. Historic of music. In the ancient human era, people usually use music for religious activities. Now, we're going to talk about the origin of music. Looking at the behavior of some exciting tribal populations, we can conclude that even in the simplest forms of society, music can play a prominent role. Prehistoric men and women probably started making music as a way to imitate the sounds of nature, either for religious or recreational reasons. The first musical instruments ever employed is likely to be a human voice, although archaeologists also found several rudimentary instruments, such as flutes, since back to more than 35,000 years ago.
after a very long time, music has progressed very fast. There is Renaissance and classical music. During the Renaissance, composers laid the foundation for what Baroque music would later become. During the Baroque period, in particular, composers started creating music for richer ensembles that would later develop into full orchestras. Some forms still in use today, such as the sonata and the fugue, were invented during these times.
After the Renaissance, we will discuss opera and romantic music. From 18th to the early 20th century, many different composers, from Mozart to Beethoven, from Haydn to Schubert, experimented with different forms, melodic ideas, innovative harmonic solutions, and instruments. The classical era involved the development of a brand new singing form that mixed music and theater, still known today as opera. Symphonies also become very popular.
For the next era, we have jazz and blues music in the Afro-American communities, a brand new approach to music, inspired partly by the African traditions and partly by the Christian religion, took over and shocked the norms. Jazz and blues set an important foundation for all the other contemporary genres, just as European classical music had done before.
After jazz and blues, we have rock and pop music. Throughout the 50s, a revolution happened. Rock and roll appeared and blessed the music scene. Originating directly from the blues form, rock and roll became a great trend and influenced many different aspects of culture and society. It also became a strong foundation for countless other genres and subgenres, extending to the realm of pop music. Groups like the Beatles, for example, work as a bridge between these two worlds that were often overlapped in their songs.
And the last is electronic music. In this era, electronic music became mainstream music. Elec- Electronic tools and resources are very present, although the song structures from a musical point of view and still maintain the standards of the classical rock and pop music we have heard. since the 50s. They no longer had to play an instrument to compose a tune. They could just use a piece of software or an electronic device to deliver. The process of creating the whole song using instruments should be more appreciated. However, in this day and age, that is not the case for most people.
In this era, music can affect our condition of health, economy, life, human physiology, and media to cure disease. For example, music can affect our condition of health. Do you ever know about the benefits of music, especially to our health? There are three benefits of music. First, music can increase and improve our mood. People can increase their mood by listening to music which they like, especially based on the genre that people like. Second, music as a learning tool. In this era, there are many languages that exist in this world. There are English, Indonesian, Japanese, Malaysian, Chinese, Thai, Vietnamese, and other languages that are used in each country. From each country must have their own music and genre. So we can learn various languages in this world. Maybe you can search on YouTube about music from other countries. For example, if you want to learn about English, because English is an international language, we can search on YouTube and learn the language and how to pronounce it on YouTube. The next is improve your memory. For example, your age is 50 and you miss your young vibes. So you can play the song on your Spotify that you want to listen to, and maybe suddenly you will remember with your memories when you are young.
The next part is music can affect your economic condition. Based on this era, we are usually called musicians. Musicians is a person who plays a musical instrument such as a guitar, piano, and also sings. A musician is also someone who writes music either by himself or to other people. So, a musician can work to fulfill their needs by making music and releasing it on social media such as Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and other social media.
I have an opinion about music from Kompas.com, or you can search on Google. Dave Mustaine umumkan sembuh dari kanker di konser Megadeth. You can find that music can be a motivation for people who have cancer. He is Dave Mustaine. He had cancer. He said he had throat cancer, but he didn't stop motivating himself to keep playing music. Unbelievable, he can cure 100% of his cancer. He says he is 100% cured of his cancer, and his motivation is that he wants to play music for the rest of his life. So, in this case, depending on the person, we can know that someone who has a strong motivation and struggles hard will be given ease in earning his life, even though he received such a heavy experience in their life. So, our conclusion is music has changed significantly from year to year. If we compare the old era with new era, there is a big difference between the two eras.
Music has always been an important cultural and social factor throughout human history. It helped people form tribal bonds and often served religious and spiritual needs.
Music has stood the test of time for the prehistoric age till this day. Alright, this is from us. Hope this information can be useful for those who watch it. Goodbye and happy weekend.